Beloved, the time has come. You are not here by chance. You were chosen long before you took your first breath, set apart for a divine mission. The trials you have faced, the pain you have endured, and the battles you have fought, none of it was in vain. Every hardship was a whisper from the heavens, preparing you for this final task. This is not a call to the ordinary. This is a summons to the awaken, to those who dare to see beyond what their eyes reveal. You were never meant to blend into the world. You were meant to transform it. And now your greatest assignment has been delivered. But hear me well, this task is not about struggle or striving. It is not won by force or fear. The final task is about one thing and one thing only: becoming. For the moment you step into your true power, the heavens will move, and the reality you seek will unfold before you. Long before you entered this world, before you took your first breath, your path was already written. You did not stumble into existence by accident, nor are you here to merely drift through life without purpose. You were appointed, handpicked by the divine, chosen for a mission that only you can fulfill. Every soul that walks this earth has a calling, but not all will awaken to it. Many will remain asleep, caught in the illusions of the world, believing themselves to be mere products of circumstance. But you are different. The moment you arrived, forces beyond human comprehension set things in motion for your awakening. Your experiences, your trials, your victories, and even your deepest wounds, none of them were random. They were designed to shape you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the task that was always meant to be yours. Every obstacle you have faced was not placed before you to break you, but to refine you, to remove all that is weak, so that only the strongest, most awakened version of yourself remains. Think back to your life. Have you ever wondered why certain things happened the way they did? Why you were born into a specific family, placed in a certain environment, faced with unique struggles that others may never understand? It was all part of the grand design. The events of your life were not coincidences. They were precise movements in a divine symphony, orchestrated to lead you to this very moment. The world may have tried to convince you that you are small, that you are powerless, that your dreams are unreachable, but that is the greatest lie ever told. You were never ordinary. From the beginning, a seed of greatness was planted within you, waiting for the right moment to bloom. That moment is now. What you carry inside you is something far greater than what the eye can see. It is an energy, a power, an unshakable force that cannot be destroyed. It is the reason you have always felt different, the reason you could never truly fit into the mold that society tried to force upon you. While others found comfort in conformity, something deep within you resisted. You may have tried to silence it, to ignore it, to pretend you were like everyone else, but that inner knowing, the whisper of your true purpose, never faded. It has always been there waiting for you to listen. From the time before time, you were known. The universe, God, the divine, whatever name you give to the higher power, has been guiding you, aligning circumstances, placing you exactly where you need to be so that you could step into your true destiny. The world is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. Every experience, every thought, every belief has been shaping the reality you now stand in. And if you were chosen before birth, then nothing in this world can stand against you. But the question remains, will you finally embrace the truth of who you are? Everything you see in the world around you, every structure, every innovation, every advancement that humanity has ever achieved was once only a thought, an idea, a vision in someone's mind. The invisible realm of imagination is where all things are first conceived before they are brought into the physical world. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the gateway through which reality is shaped. And yet, most people underestimate the very thing that determines their entire existence. You were never meant to be a prisoner of the external world. What you see with your eyes is merely a reflection of past thoughts, past beliefs, past assumptions. If you wish to change your reality, you must first change the images you hold within. The world will tell you that circumstances define you, that the conditions you were born into dictate your fate. But that is a deception. It is not your environment that shapes your life. It is the power of your imagination. Your imagination is limitless. It is not bound by the restrictions of the physical world, nor is it controlled by logic, reason, or probability. Within your mind, you can create anything, be anything, achieve anything. And yet, many have allowed this divine gift to be dulled by doubt, fear, and the conditioning of society. They only believe in what they can touch, what they can measure, what seems real to the senses. But the truth is, what is real is first established in the unseen. Think back to a moment when you deeply desired something you could see so vividly in your mind that it felt as though it had already happened. Perhaps it was a goal, a dream, a vision of a life far greater than the one you were living. That feeling, that inner knowing, that conviction was your imagination working as it was meant to. When you hold an image in your mind with absolute belief, it must, by divine law, take form in the physical world. But here is where most people fail. They allow doubt to creep in. They look at their current circumstances, at the so-called evidence of the world, and they begin to waver. They question whether their vision is possible, whether they are worthy of it, whether they have the ability to achieve it. And in that moment of doubt, they sabotage their own creation. For imagination is not a fleeting wish. It is a force that must be sustained with faith, persistence, and unwavering certainty. Every great leader, every visionary, every individual who has ever shaped the course of history understood this secret. They did not merely react to the world, they created the world. They saw beyond the limitations of their time, beyond the obstacles that stood before them, and they refused to let doubt dictate their destiny. They understood that the mind is the master and reality is its servant. Look around you. Everything you see was once imagined. The cities you walk through, the technology you use, the art that moves your soul, all of it began as an idea. Nothing manifests without first being held in consciousness. And yet, most people live as if their imagination is a mere escape, a place of idle fantasy rather than the very foundation of their future. They give more power to what already exists than to what they have the ability to create. But the chosen ones, those who understand the hidden laws of the universe, know the truth. Imagination is not just a tool, it is the key to destiny itself. You do not need permission from the world to step into your highest potential. You do not need external proof before you believe. You only need the willingness to see beyond what is, to hold the vision with unshakable certainty, and to trust that what you imagine with conviction must, without fail, become your reality. The world you see with your eyes is nothing more than a reflection of past thoughts, past beliefs, and past assumptions. It is not solid, not fixed, not absolute. It is a shadow of consciousness, a projection of the mind shaped by the unseen forces of imagination and belief. And yet, the majority of people live enslaved by what they perceive, as if the visible world is the ultimate truth. They react to circumstances, conform to what appears possible, and allow external conditions to dictate their lives. This is the greatest illusion of all. From the moment you were born, you were taught to believe in limitations. You were told that life is governed by rules, that you must accept reality as it is, that your circumstances define who you are. But those who awaken to their true power know otherwise. They understand that the external world is not the master, it is the servant. The moment you stop accepting what is given to you and begin shaping what you desire, the world must yield to your will. The mistake most people make is believing that what they see is fixed, that obstacles are permanent, that limitations are real. They look at their bank accounts, their surroundings, their physical conditions, and they assume that these things determine their destiny. But the truth is, everything in the external world is a manifestation of inner consciousness. If you wish to change what is before you, you must first change what is within you. Think of a time when you allowed circumstances to dictate your emotions. Perhaps you felt powerless because things weren't going your way. You may have seen failure, rejection, or lack, and in that moment you believed it to be real. But had you refused to accept it, had you persisted in the unseen reality of your desire, the outcome would have been different. The world is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back the state of your mind. When you give power to what is, you reinforce it. But when you turn inward, when you refuse to be moved by appearances, you begin to bend reality in your favor. You must understand that the senses are deceptive. What you hear, what you see, what you feel, these things are not truth. They are echoes of past creations. The moment you allow the external world to influence your thoughts, you surrender your creative power. You become a victim of circumstances rather than the master of them. But those who are truly chosen, those who understand the deeper mysteries of existence, do not waver. They do not allow their senses to control them. They walk by faith, not by sight. Consider the great innovators, the pioneers, the visionaries who reshaped history. Did they accept the world as it was? Did they bow to the limitations placed upon them? No. They ignored the world before them and saw only the world within. They refused to accept impossibility, refused to acknowledge failure, refused to be swayed by what others believed to be true. And because of this, they created what others could not even conceive. Every great transformation begins with a refusal to accept things as they are. The external world may tell you that your dreams are unrealistic, that your circumstances are set, that you cannot escape your current reality, but you must silence that noise. You must close your eyes to appearances and open them to the vision within. For what you entertain in your mind will soon become the only reality that matters. The world may tempt you to doubt. It may test your faith, may throw obstacles in your path, may whisper lies of limitation, but none of it holds any power unless you accept it as truth. The greatest strength you possess is the ability to detach from what is seen and align with what is unseen. The moment you stop believing in the external world's authority over you, you reclaim your rightful power as the creator of your destiny. Faith is not a passive hope, nor is it a mere wish for things to improve. Faith is certainty, a knowing so profound that it does not waver no matter what appears before you. It is the foundation of all creation, the unseen force that moves mountains, the power that transforms impossibility into inevitability. Yet most people misunderstand faith. They see it as something to be tested, something to be rewarded only when evidence appears. But faith that depends on proof is no faith at all. True faith is belief in the unseen, conviction in what the senses cannot yet confirm. To have absolute faith is to stand firm in your vision, even when everything around you suggests otherwise. It is to know with unwavering certainty that what you have imagined is already yours, even when the external world denies it. The greatest mistake people make is allowing doubt to creep in. They pray, they affirm, they visualize, but when circumstances do not immediately shift, they begin to question. And in that questioning, they destroy the very thing they were in the process of creating. Faith does not ask when, faith knows it is already done. Consider a seed planted in the soil. The farmer does not dig it up each day to see if it is growing. He does not question whether the laws of nature will work. He waters it, nurtures it, and knows that in time it will break through the surface. So too must your faith be. The moment you plant the seed of belief, you must nurture it with absolute certainty, without looking to the external world for validation. If you constantly seek proof, you uproot your own creation. Most people live in a cycle of doubt and hesitation. They believe one moment, then question the next. They allow fear to enter their minds, and in doing so, they neutralize the very power that was working in their favor. Faith cannot be conditional. It cannot depend on external reassurance. It must be total, unwavering, immovable. It must stand strong even in the face of adversity, even when logic suggests otherwise, even when the world tells you it is impossible. For faith does not operate within the limits of logic. Faith transcends all limitations. There is a law that governs faith, an unseen principle that ensures that what is believed with absolute conviction must manifest. The reason most fail is because they do not persist. They allow doubt to creep in, uncertainty to take hold. They look at their circumstances, and when they see no immediate change, they abandon their belief. But the chosen ones, those who understand the nature of faith, do not waver. They do not rely on the senses to confirm what they already know. They walk in confidence, holding steadfast to their vision, refusing to acknowledge any reality other than the one they have created in their mind. Faith does not ask for permission. It does not seek validation. It does not concern itself with time. It is unshakable, untouchable, unwavering. The moment you allow even the slightest hesitation, you have already weakened it. This is why faith must be absolute. It cannot be partial. It cannot be occasional. It cannot be something you hold one day and question the next. It must be constant, like the beating of your heart, like the breath in your lungs, an ever-present force that sustains and drives you forward. The world will test you. It will throw challenges in your path, distractions meant to make you question your belief. Circumstances may appear unchanged, resistance may arise, and the temptation to doubt will be strong. But faith does not yield to appearances. It does not conform to the limitations of the world. It bends reality to its will, reshapes circumstances, and moves unseen forces to bring about the fulfillment of what is believed. The moment your faith becomes absolute, the world around you has no choice but to align with it. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when they realize that the path before them is not about acquiring more, achieving more, or striving harder. The final task is not something you do, it is something you become. The transformation required is not external, but internal. And until you undergo this shift, the task that has been assigned to you, the destiny that awaits you, will remain just out of reach. Many believe that their breakthrough will come when circumstances change, when opportunities appear, when the right people enter their lives. But this is the greatest illusion of all. Nothing outside of you needs to change. The world is merely a reflection of the state of your consciousness, a mirror that projects back to you exactly what you hold within. If you are waiting for something external to unlock your final task, you will wait forever. The key has never been outside of you. It has always been within. Look at your life. Every challenge, every hardship, every obstacle you have faced was not meant to break you. It was meant to refine you. The trials you have endured were not punishments, they were initiations. They were designed to strip away the old, to dissolve the false self, to force you to shed every limiting belief that has kept you bound. Because the final task is not given to the person you once were, it is given to the person you must become. You may wonder why the path has been so difficult, why you have been tested, stretched, pushed beyond what you thought you could endure. But the truth is, the weight of your calling required it. You cannot carry divine purpose with a mind that is still ruled by fear. You cannot walk in your true destiny while clinging to the limitations of the past. The old version of you was never meant to complete the final task. The old version of you had to die so that the real you could emerge. There is a moment when the shift happens, when you no longer react to the world but command it, when you stop looking for signs and become the sign, when you stop waiting for change and realize you are the change. This is the moment when your transformation is complete. And the instant this happens, the final task reveals itself. It does not come with fanfare or grand announcements. It does not arrive in the way you might expect. It comes in the silence, in the stillness, in the knowing. It is not something you chase. It is something that has been waiting for you all along. Many will seek this transformation, but few will complete it. Not because they are incapable, but because they refuse to let go. They hold on to old identities, old beliefs, old fears, thinking they can bring them into the new. But the final task demands total surrender. You cannot step into your highest destiny while carrying the weight of who you used to be. The transformation required is not partial, it is total. It is not comfortable, it is radical. It is not temporary, it is irreversible. This is why so few complete the journey. Many start, but when the fire of transformation becomes too intense, they retreat. They cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves them. They resist the shedding, the breaking, the rebuilding. But the chosen ones, the true chosen ones, understand that the fire is necessary. They do not fear the burning because they know what emerges from the ashes is something greater than what existed before. Everything you seek is already seeking you. The final task is not something you must chase, it is something you must align with. But alignment requires transformation. It requires becoming the version of yourself that is already in possession of the wisdom, the power, the certainty needed to fulfill your mission. Until this transformation is complete, the final task will remain hidden. Not because it is being withheld from you, but because you are not yet the person who can hold it. There is no shortcut, no way to bypass the process, no way to remain the same and still expect to walk in the fullness of your calling. The old must fall away, the illusions must be shattered, the false self must dissolve. Only then will the final task appear, not as something you must strive for, but as something that was always yours. There is a divine plan, a sacred path that has been laid before you since before your birth. It is not random, not uncertain, not left to chance. You were sent here with purpose, with a mission that only you can fulfill. And while the world may tell you that your life is a series of accidents, that your existence is merely a product of circumstances, this could not be further from the truth. You were chosen, set apart, and given a specific task that aligns with the higher order of the universe. But here is the great mystery. Heaven itself waits for you to step into that calling. Most live under the illusion that divine destiny is something that unfolds on its own, that if they are meant for greatness, it will simply happen. They wait for signs, for confirmation, for external proof that their path is secure. But heaven does not operate this way. The fulfillment of your purpose does not depend on divine intervention. It depends on your willingness to step into who you were always meant to be. Heaven does not force, it does not coerce, it does not impose its will upon you. It waits. It waits for you to align, to accept, to rise into the fullness of your calling. It waits for you to strip away the false self, to let go of fear, to move beyond hesitation and step into certainty. It waits for you to believe in what has already been written about you, to trust in what has been placed within you. But until you do, the greater plan remains unfulfilled, not because heaven is withholding it, but because you have not yet claimed it. Consider this. Every desire you have ever had for something greater, every vision that has stirred within you, every deep longing to rise above the limitations of the world, where do you think it comes from? These are not random wishes. They are echoes of the assignment placed upon your soul before you entered this realm. They are divine reminders, subtle whispers urging you to step forward, to remember who you are, to embrace the role that was always meant for you. But most ignore these whispers. They allow the noise of the world to drown them out. They listen to doubt, to fear, to the voices that tell them they are not capable, not ready, not worthy. And so they delay. They postpone their destiny, waiting for a moment of absolute certainty that will never come. They fail to realize that the moment they decide to step forward, heaven moves with them. Heaven does not need to be convinced of your worth. It already knows who you are. It is only you who must awaken to that truth. The delay is never on the part of the divine. It is always on the part of the individual who has not yet claimed their inheritance. The power, the wisdom, the path. It is all there waiting, but it cannot be given to the one who still doubts. This is why faith must be absolute. This is why transformation must be total. This is why you must rise beyond the limitations of the physical world and begin operating from a place of knowing rather than hoping. Heaven does not respond to weak faith, to uncertainty, to hesitation. It responds to conviction, to unwavering belief, to those who walk as though they already possess the promises that have been made to them. The fulfillment of your purpose is not a passive process. You are not here to simply exist, to move through life aimlessly, to hope that something greater finds you. You are here to step boldly into what has already been designed for you. And until you do, heaven waits, not because it is reluctant to give, but because it cannot pour into hands that are not open to receive. Every challenge, every test, every delay you have faced has not been a sign of rejection. It has been preparation. The refining process is necessary, not because heaven questions your worthiness, but because you must become the vessel capable of holding what has been destined for you. The greater the calling, the greater the refinement. And those who truly understand this do not resist the process, they surrender to it. Heaven is not withholding, it is not distant, it is not reluctant. It is waiting, waiting for you to claim what has always been yours, waiting for you to step beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond the illusion of limitation, waiting for you to realize that you are not here to simply exist. You are here to fulfill something that has already been written in eternity. The time for hesitation is over. The time for waiting, for questioning, for seeking external validation has passed. You have been called, chosen, and assigned a task that only you can fulfill. The world may try to distract you, circumstances may attempt to shake you, but none of it matters, because the truth has already been written within you. The final task, the fulfillment of your destiny, does not rest in the hands of others. It does not depend on the conditions of the external world. It has always depended on you. You were chosen before birth. You were given the power to shape your reality, to rise above illusion, to create the life you were meant to live. But faith must be absolute. The transformation must be complete. The version of you that clings to doubt, that waits for proof, that fears failure, must be left behind. The world is not the authority over your destiny. You are. And when you step into this truth fully, without hesitation, heaven itself moves to meet you. There are no more delays, no more excuses, no more waiting. You stand at the threshold of the final task. The path has been set, the door is open, and heaven is waiting for your fulfillment. Now it is time to step forward, fully, completely, without looking back. The power is already yours. The calling has already been given. The only question that remains is, will you rise to meet it?